and welcome to Hang Out with Coach Carrie. My name is Carrie Brown, and I am a small business expert. And if you've been hanging out with me at Monday mornings, 9 a.m., you know that I am committed to helping you, the solo entrepreneur, be more successful in your business. And I'm really excited today about my expert interview. From time to time, you won't just be listening to me, you will listen to these experts that I know out in the world that will bring you great value for you and will make your time worthwhile, because I'm absolutely committed to that. So today I have an amazing woman with me. Her name is Dr. Sue Ferreira. And let me just read you a little bit about her bio, because you're going to want to stay to the very end of this episode so that you can hear all that Sue has to say. So a little bit about her background, and I'm going to actually have her tell her bigger story in just a few moments. But for most upcoming retirees, or those of you even at the very early stages of your business, it's important that you're thinking about what it's going to look like for you for retirement. You know, that carefree Freedom 55 slogan that was used a few years ago has morphed into Freedom 95 now. With what's happened in the economy, a lot of people's investments and retirement plans have definitely changed. So to avoid this fate for you, listen to what Dr. Sue Ferreira has to say. She's actually called the Retirement Alchemist, and she reinvented her future from the physician to transformational coach, and learn from her how to fashion and foster your business to provide financial freedom and peace of mind for your retirement years. So please help me welcome Dr. Sue Ferreira. Sue, say hello to my audience.
Hello, everyone, and it's very good to be here with you today, Kerry. Thank you very much for inviting me.
You are so welcome. I'm thrilled to have you here. So, Sue, you know, it's really, I know people are wondering, why is it important that we have this topic, or why we're even thinking about it? You know, as most people, certainly at the early on of their career, they're focused on how to get customers, right? They're focused on how to get clients and how to make their days more productive and all of that. But as fans of my episodes know, that I really do believe that there is an important piece for planning, and I know you would absolutely agree with me on that, would you not?
I would indeed.
Yeah, great. So Sue, why don't we start out this by you telling and sharing with our audience your story, because I think it's really good that if they, you know, are at a stage in life where maybe they can't relate to exactly where you are, I think there's some really good lessons in them in your story for them to be thinking about.
Okay, I'll make it really, really brief. I was a physician for 40-something years. Kind of scary to think of. In fact, next year is 50 years since I went to medical school, and I had a wonderful life as a physician. Mother, all that kind of stuff, and wife. But, you know, stuff happens in life, and at the age of 60, I went through a really painful divorce, and suddenly I'm looking, as I actually was going into retirement, I'm looking at reinventing my life. And actually, at the time, it was painful, but it's like so many things. When you look back a few years, in fact, it was a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for me, because I was coming to the end of my many, many years in medicine. And like, I'm never going to sit down and knit samplers. That's not going to be my retirement. I know I have a lot in me still to give back. So I was looking around for something to reinvent my life, to do something else. And I'm right on the leading edge of the baby boomers. And, you know, you've got to be living under a stone if you don't know there's a lot of challenges coming up for lack of funding for the baby boomers and everybody else probably later on down the road. So I decided to create a program to show folks how to generate added income for their retirement years. And, you know, it's up and running. And that's basically how I came to be here, having transformed myself from physician now into transformational and life coach.
So it was your journey that took you on this sort of awareness of, wow, there's got to be other people like me who are either in their early retirement years, or, you know, what and what are their options out there. I know for you, Sue, that you're really passionate and you really are committed to helping people find their area of expertise. You know, they've got a lot of life experience and how to actually monetize that. And that's a really key piece. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I guess, I mean, I'm kind of fortunate because I've had a good income over the years. But when that crash of 2008 happened, I mean, you know, it's like strange things happen to you. I had like a sick, in fact, even when I talk about it and think about it now, I had kind of a sick feeling of realizing how many folks were going to be absolutely wrecked by the downturn. And, you know, it really came to me that, yeah, they're going to be wrecked financially, many of them, but they don't have adequate time to recover because they're kind of coming up to retirement, but they do have this knowledge and wisdom and skills. And I love the techie stuff. I realized that with the web, there's a huge, huge opportunity to take your wisdom and knowledge and skills and everything you do day to day and to package it and create products and move it out to the one-to-many. The big plus of this is you can continue doing your one-to-one for as long as you can, but slowly as you build up your one-to-many, you build up passive income that you don't actually have to work for every day. And so as you transition, you can go from, you know, you can just come out slowly, reduce the amount that you work, and then generate income from this legacy which you have through your products and everything that we put up online.
Right. And when you say products, you're not necessarily talking about a physical product. You're talking about an intellectual property, you know, their expertise on something that they've learned. Because
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if you're on this earth long enough, you do develop some expertise in certain in areas, don't we?
And everybody does. And it doesn't have to be what you have been doing all your life. I mean, you could have had life stuff. You can have, you know, you may have had a child that had some disability that you intimately know how to improve that situation. You may have had things happen in your life, illnesses or something else that you've gone through, that you've learned from, that you can then basically dump your knowledge from your brain into some kind of format which you can then present and help others. I think it's a huge way of spreading knowledge, spreading wisdom, and benefiting others. And remember, it's not just others in our country. You basically have access to the planet, and we know that, you know, education is the key in the end, and there's an awful lot of people who can really benefit from your knowledge, your wisdom, and your skills.
Yeah, and I think that you would agree with me on this, that there's a huge thirst for knowledge. You know, today people, if they're, you know, whatever the news might be or whatever they're interested in, they rarely ever just accept that. They go on and they do their own research, or they become very much more self-driven and self-educating about that. So what I'm hearing you say is people who provide that knowledge for them, there's an opportunity for them to create an income from that knowledge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's kind of a win-win. You can take your knowledge, which will benefit others, and others' knowledge is valuable. Knowledge is worth a lot of money these days, and then you can benefit, generate added income from passing your knowledge on to others.
Right. So, Dr. Sue, what would you have done differently, knowing what you know now? Especially for the people that maybe are at that point that happened on this episode and they're thinking, well, I'm still a long ways off from retirement. I think this could be a valuable piece for them. So share with them what you would do differently, knowing what you know now, being able to look back.
That's a good one. That's a very good question, Kerry. And I think there's probably two things I would have done very differently. And in a way, they're kind of related. So if you're a younger business woman or man who's out there who is basically just starting out on your entrepreneurial life, I think there's two things I would do differently. One is I would get myself very well financially educated. And I think financial literacy is at a very low level across the planet for average folks. I would really, really educate myself financially, and I would start planning my retirement today, now. It doesn't matter whether you're 21 or you're 33 or in your 40s or over. You really need to have a plan, a focused plan to generate income in your later years. I think one of the challenges with a lot of the baby boomers is, I mean, you age quickly. I mean, there's that phrase out there that inside every old person is a young one saying, yikes, what happened? And it's really, really true. And you're there. And if you haven't made those plans to be there, it can be a scary time for an awful lot of people. And we know that pensions are going to disappear. So I think if you're a younger person now, even if you're an entrepreneur, you're not going to have a pension anyway, but pensions are going to disappear. Basically, it's going to be your responsibility to fund your retirement. So the sooner you start, the better you're going to be when you get there. And I promise you, even if you're 21, you're going to be there a lot sooner than you think.
Right. Okay. So what I heard you say is that obviously becoming financially much more literate, understanding finances is a really key piece. Yeah. And then also start to plan for the retirement. So whatever age you're at, be a really clear picture of how you're going to achieve that retirement. So it's whether it's putting money aside, whether it's creating another cash flow stream, you know, whatever that it happens to be. Yeah. So where would you tell someone who was maybe a potential client of yours or a client who'd hired you, because this is obviously what you do, where would you tell them to start right now?
Well, I think what
are their first steps?
The first steps really are identifying what skills, wisdom, and knowledge they have, which would be beneficial to others and that folks would pay for. And often it's not the obvious, it's not perhaps what they may think right at the beginning. It may be, first of all, identify what you want, but then the next step you really have to do is to go out and see whether there is a niche in that area that you can populate successfully. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes a lot of folks make, is they have a passion in their soul and they say, I'm going out to do this, but they don't take enough time to research to see whether there is a space there that they can populate and benefit others in, and also generate own income. So that would be the two first things I would do, is decide where your strengths are, and then see if it will be a fit to generate some kind of income. And it won't always be. And then we go to line two. There's always somewhere something that you have that you can use to generate income as you get older.
You know, you struck on a good point there in my ebook that people can download from coachcarrie.com. So hangoutwithcoachcarrie.com. I have a free ebook there you can get. And one of the things I talk about is that, you know, unfortunately, just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean it's going to be a business success. And so you reinforce that absolutely. In fact, one of my earlier episodes that people can check on, it's you doing something called a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So I think that's a great advice that you're reinforcing for people, that they need to go and do that kind of research, because pretty soon something you're excited and passionate about isn't so fun and exciting anymore if no one wants what you are passionate about. So doing that research is a really, really key piece. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Sue,
I absolutely agree.
So what, for our audience here who's, let's say, saying, okay, I hear what she's saying, I hear the importance of planning, I hear the importance of developing my financial acumen, my financial knowledge or literacy to understand about this. What would you walk someone through, or what would be the process you would take a person through if they were to hire you or through one of your programs? Kind of tell the audience here how they could work with you and what that would look like.
Well, again, it depends to a certain extent on what stage you are in your life, but the process is more or less the same. First thing, I would put you through my program of where are you now with your finances, your mindset, your knowledge, your relationships, and maybe this isn't so relevant for people who are younger, but with your health. Because I think unless you know where you are now, it's absolutely pointless trying to plan something for the future. So the first thing is to build this pedestal of where you are now, and especially with your knowledge, your mindset, and your finances, because this will give you, you know, an idea of, okay, I'm here now, and then we take you through a process of, okay, you're here now, where do you want to be? And if you look at your finances now, you know, what is your net worth? What are your cash flows, etc., etc.? How long can you live on your current cash flows on your current net worth? And if there's a discrepancy between how long you can live and how long you're likely to live, or how much money you would actually like, then we sit down and say, okay, we've got to generate this, not everything, but something in between that will give you the life that you desire further on. And then I really encourage folks, even if you're young, to really visualize the life you would like to be living when you're older. And that's tough, because you will be a different person when you get to be 65, 75, 85, 95, and 105, because this is what's happening with longevity. And that's tough if you're in your 20s and 30s to think about that. But it's still worth having some idea of what you would like to do, because if you can do that and you can visualize that and have it a guide through all of your years, you're going to get there. If you don't have a good visualization and a good plan, well, you're just going to be flopping around like fish in the ocean and not particularly going anywhere. So that's my recommendation. First of all, work out where you are in so many facets of your life. Think about where you want to be, and then we just kind of do a wiggly map and get you from where you are now to where you want to be.
Yeah, you know, I've heard it said so often is that people spend more time planning a vacation than they do planning their lives. And, you know, unfortunately, that's a very sad piece, because pretty soon, for those of us who are on the other end of the spectrum, we do wake up one day and say, what happened? And so I think that's really, really great advice. So, Sue, how can people get a hold of you? What can they, how can they start interacting with you and getting your information?
Well, my website is being revamped. It should have been this week. Hopefully it will be up next week. It's Live Your Retirement Dream. You can also find me on Facebook, Your Retirement Dream. And my other contact information, email info@sueferreira.com, is up on my website. And I just love to talk to anybody. I just think it's going to be such a challenge for so many. In fact, if you really want to do the Chicken Little and Skies Falling and look at the numbers, it's already estimated in the English-speaking world there's over 80 million folks who already know they don't have enough money for their retirement. Maybe the other 20% does, or maybe they just haven't worked out that they haven't yet. But it really is a very crucial and important thing to consider for your future, whatever your age. So my website, my Facebook page, message me, email me, whatever. Let's get talking.
And do you have some videos that people can watch to get a little bit more information from you as well?
I do. I've got a YouTube channel. I'm actually just revamping all my videos. And I have a program which is coming out very soon, which is video, audio, and worksheets. So you can work through all these challenges and slowly build your way, build that pedestal, and then move on from there. I've got another 3 programs in the pipeline.
Great. So all of that will be on the website, because, of course, these Hangouts have a longevity to them, so we don't know when people are going to be either watching them or listening to them on a podcast channel. So go to liveyourretirementdream.com and check out to see what new information is there. Well, Sue, what's your final kind of parting advice that you might give our audience today?
Well, I think it's probably the whole theme that I've been saying, and I really love, quotes. My kids used to roll their eyes. Oh God, here comes Mum with another quote. But I think they really always crystallize the essence of something. So I think there's one Abraham Lincoln said that I really love, which is the best way to predict your future is to create it. So that's level 1. Okay. And then next, there's a lovely phrase again that visualization is dreaming with a purpose. So if you can visualize yourself and visualize your future with really, really intense detail. And there's another quote I like from entrepreneur Mike Dillard. I'll have to read it. But he says, the greatest achievement in life is to have the ability to create the world around you so that it matches the dreams in your mind. I really love that.
I like that one.
I love that one. Me too.
Yeah. Say that one again, nice and slow for those who want to hear it.
Okay. The greatest achievement in life is to have the ability to create the world around you so that it matches the dreams in your mind. Good one.
Lovely. Yeah.
It's really, because it brings that visualization to reality, because that's the dream in your mind. So what you do is you work towards the dream that you have in your mind. Every decision, every day, get up. What 3 things today are going to take me closer to that dream in my mind?
Right. So you can put those action steps in place. That's where the planning comes in, not just dreaming,
Yep.
but the planning along with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
I think that's a perfect note for us to finish. So again, thank you so much, my audience, for listening or watching to this episode. Go to hangoutwithcoachcarrie.com. You can see lots of other episodes on there, and go to Google Plus and join my Hangout community, or my community there, which is Carrie Brown's Small Business Coaching Community. So it's pretty straightforward. Come and join. It's free, and interact there, network with each other, share your successes, and get a lot of support. So Dr. Sue Ferreira, thank you so much for this great interview today, and I really appreciate all of this wisdom that you shared with my audience. I think it's such valuable information that we all need to know. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me, Carrie. And hey, folks, keep dreaming.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you.